Soldiers can be seen scrambling at the Adazi Training Grounds as they get their gear ready, vehicles fixed, and equipment checked one last time before the field training exercise portion of Saber Strike 2014.
Basically today, we're going now to do our FTX, getting ready to set in Alpha. Once we get there, we'll get pitch an op order, company op order, and then I'll pitch my op order and we'll start TLPs. Today basically we had to load up the Bradleys, all the supplies that we needed, water, MREs. We had to ship everything from Germany to Latvia. We could recover all of our equipment within one day. So these guys have been working really hard out here.
The Americans weren't the only ones getting ready. The Latvians, British, and Canadians were just some of the other military personnel that could be seen preparing for the week ahead.
Yeah, we basically just got all our ammo together, all our Stano equipment, basically like NVGs, just to get ready for the attack tomorrow. I mean, our offensive attack tomorrow. We're just all going to jump into some vehicles, head over to the assembly area, get all our stuff ready for tomorrow, and get out to work.
During Saber Strike, one thing continually sets many minds at ease.
I think it's going to be actually really good, just in case anything ever does happen, and just to be reassured that we can all work together as a team, basically.
The field training exercise portion of Saber Strike 2014 kicks off with the Americans, British, and Norwegians against the Baltic team of Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, while the Canadians and the 173rd will be in a supportive combative role for both sides. From Adazi, Latvia, I'm Petty Officer David Cox.
Norwegian soldiers fortify their line and prepare for a night of battle as the Baltic armies advance on their position.
Our mission is delay enemy to the British strongholds and then give the battle to them.
We're defending against the Baltic nations, the NATO forces, so it's us, the Norwegian company, British company and an American company in an operation where we are trying to slow the enemy down as they did earlier when we attacked. So the tables have turned.
Building a defensive front is hard and time-consuming work, but in this multinational training environment, the Norwegians were able to find help from the 15th Engineer Battalion.
Americans, especially engineering force, is actually showing so much service for the infantry. It's almost incredible for our Norwegian standards. Yeah.
After almost 2 weeks of training, Private Johansson says he's learned a few things about some of the partner nations.
We learned that the British, I wasn't expecting that much aggressiveness in the field days. Very nice and polite people, but extremely aggressive and on the battlefield. And also the Lithuanians. They were very strict in their marching from the canteen and back. Everyone in the same order and somewhat impressing, but also I'm glad we don't do it.
From Saber Strike 2014, Adazi, Latvia, I'm Sergeant James Barrington.
Here in Adazi, Latvia, Saber Strike 2014 is coming to a close. But what these soldiers have learned as far as skills and knowledge over the past few days puts them on the path to success. Crouching, hand signals, and maneuvering through waist-deep bogs are some of the things expected of soldiers in the heat of combat. Yet soldiers participating in the field training exercise portion of Saber Strike not only utilize these skills, they also learn others.
When you bring all 10 partner nations together, 4,500 troops, and for them to start training together with different experiences and different capabilities, it's complex and it's dynamic. We've been doing this now for 5 years, and every year the scenario changes. This year's scenario was designed to help our formations understand defensive operations and to transition from defensive operations into counterattack and offensive operations.
Well, I mean, it's great to have the opportunity to actually work with your counterparts. Number one, obviously customs are different. Just getting a chance to understand how they work as individuals and as teams, it gives you the opportunity to, like I said, see them in action and see how they actually handle their business. So hearing one thing and seeing another thing definitely would help us out for the future.
I hope that in the future it grows even bigger, but we have to choose much bigger training area. And I would like to see more heavy armored units on the ground. I think those multinational exercises always help to make us much better in multinational cooperation. We all learned a lot from this exercise, and it was quite an opportunity for me to train my HQ, to train my own companies together with our multinational partners.
For 2 weeks, nations have battled it out during Saber Strike 2014. And during those trials and tribulations, many have taken away something of value, whether it be from training or just from interacting with somebody else from a different region of the world. Reporting from Adazi, Latvia, I'm Petty Officer David Cox.
Saber Strike 2014 was a multinational exercise between coalition forces that brought together military branches from 10 different nations. The United States Air Force exercised its total force capabilities at Saber Strike with members from 3 National Guard units as well as active duty personnel.
We tend to do a lot of bilateral exercises or just exercises as the Air Force, by itself, but it's so much greater and we get so much more out of it when we involve our allies and partners and just be part of that greater team.
Members of the Minnesota National Guard provided close air support to Saber Strike's ground exercises with 8 F-16 aircraft, while Air National Guard units from Pennsylvania and Michigan provided KC-135 refuelers. The chance to work side by side with coalition forces gave Total Force Airmen the opportunity to share their expertise as well as learn how other militaries operate.
In many skill sets, it's almost a peer relationship. We're learning from them just as we're giving to them. So those lessons learned then come back into the U.S. force structure.
Saber Strike is an annual exercise in the Baltics intended to strengthen interoperability between coalition forces. Senior Airman Whitney Buford, Adazi Air Base, Latvia.